right. Welcome back, friends. Today and for the next few episodes, Sarah and I are going to take up a incredibly important topic that has application in so many vital areas of our lives. And that's the concept of education versus indoctrination. So the title of our talks moving forward is going to be Education or Indoctrination, Pursuit of Truth. That's really what it is. Aristotle. So it's going to tend to be a conversation, or at least from my end, on heavy on philosophy. And I apologize for that up front, but that is going to be one of our ways of discerning when we are being educated or have been educated, or when we are being indoctrinated or trying to be indoctrinated. Okay, so Aristotle, philosophy. All men want to be happy. And as we well know here in our community, happiness will be defined by Aristotle as a virtuous life. That is what he's going to come to when, after his considerations. Reality is measured in the creator's terms, not the creature's. So Thomas Aquinas' seminal 5 Ways on the existence of God, and again, that's a philosophical treatise, not a theological one. And from the 5 Ways, we see that he is the source of all things. And this is very useful in our consideration of the point, particularly his argument from design, which correlates to order, not chaos. And this is the basis of a scientific inquiry, which has a fundamental assumption. It really does, even in something called chaos theory. We're assuming that the universe is ordered, albeit from our perspective, it looks like it's chaos. But nonetheless, we're trying to define chaos, and that has an order implicit with it. And this is both at a macro and a micro level. Man, too, since he's part of nature, has a particular order. And we call that order natural law. And the arguments are listed, the 5 arguments Aquinas gives for completeness, and you can refer to the notes on that. So the closer one sees as God does, the greater one's vision becomes. So the goal is to learn to see properly. So here's a goal. Aristotle has a goal of happiness, resting on virtue. We're starting to see happiness, virtue, seeing things real. All of that, if you will, is the definition of truth. Reality as it is. The creation ordered as the creator designed it. That corresponds to happiness. Frank Sheed stated, Frank Sheed. All right, so we always read books here, we do. We are convinced that we can all read 1 or 2 in the course of a year. Here's Frank Sheed, Theology and Sanity. Theology and Sanity. He has a great quote that I like. He says, loving what is good is sanctity, or the health of the will. So seeing what is there, and so here's what I'm inserting as truth. Seeing what is there is sanity, or the health of the intellect. So I will call the health of the intellect as an aspect of truth. Truth, which is one of the attributes of God, is the bedrock for authentic happiness. You're not going to get to the virtuous life by defining virtue as vice, which is common. Okay. Serveus Pinckaers, another great one. The Pursuit of Happiness God's Way. It's really a book on living the Beatitudes, the Magna Carta. He will say it in his way. God always has, and I put this in insertion just to make it clearer, our happiness and joy in view. He always does. He wants us to believe this for his sake, for his own word, because he's truth. So he wants our happiness, he wants our good, and we can trust him because he is truth.
Yeah, I think particularly when you said truth is a necessary state to happiness, and that it's not my truth or your truth, it is simply truth that is knowable, discernible, and recognizable because God made us in a manner that allows us to understand things that are reasonable and things that are unreasonable. But in a fallen world, unfortunately, we are often want to substitute things for happiness, such as pleasure or excitement or entertainment. And so consequently, when we make those substitutions, when we aren't truly seeking happiness, but we're willing to settle for a counterfeit, then we shouldn't be surprised to see that people are also willing to settle for a counterfeit truth, right? Which is essentially living a lie that leads them not ultimately to true happiness, but to a sense of potential satisfaction, which is such an underselling of the human person.
It very much is. It very much is. And it undersells them, and it also will put them into grave danger of being manipulated,
right,
by others, which we're going to eventually get to that point. All right, my friends, that is our opening remark. We're going to pick up with the definition of indoctrination in the next episode. Till then, fides, oratio.